Hey everyone, it's Maydad here from 𝙈𝙮𝙮 Health and Wellness. My goal has always been to continue to share education and empower individuals through these free live Zooms, joining my friends, health and wellness coaches and experts on their line of work from everything from behavioral science, breath work, sleep deprivation, nutrition, and so much more. And tonight I'm joined with one of those individuals, a great friend of mine by the name of 𝙤𝙧𝙧𝙗. And tonight's topic that we're going to be discussing is meditation and goal setting. Welcome to tonight's Zoom session, Troy. How have you been? It's been a while since I've seen you, my friend.
Yeah, no, I've been well, mate. Been well. Yourself? Been
I've
kicking
been
along?
great, thank you. Just about to move into a new place once all the renovation is done. But really looking forward to that. Excited the kids are going to have their own room, but it's all hard work. But like anything, when you renovate a place, there's always hidden things come up, and you've got to address them. So slowly but surely.
Very good. Very good.
Mate, I know you've been doing a lot of great work with the over 40s men's group and stuff like that, and I'm really glad I got a chance to uh, get some time with you to share some of your knowledge and talk about some of the great stuff that you do. Only the last week I caught up with Drew McKenna from uh, Reignite, who runs his own program from burnout to burn bright. We all met. If you none of you know, Drew, um, Troy, and myself, and a couple of the other guys met on a program that we were all in, and we were on our own journey. And now we're all doing our own things. Troy's doing great things. I'm running my Zooms and running my lifestyle retreats, and Drew's running his programs. But tonight we're going to talk to Troy about what he's been up to. And if you could tell us a little bit about your journey, Troy, growing up and some of your past before you got involved into the great work that you do now.
Yeah, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, obviously, I suppose the best place to start is just when I started a business when I was around 32 years of age. And up until then, I was quite fit, healthy, and was into surf lifesaving and surfing and all those excitable things around the beach, and kept a pretty healthy lifestyle. I was into the gym. When I turned 32, I started a business, and obviously had a young family as well at that time. And when I started the business, it was only me and a couple of people I had on with me. And over a period of 18 months, I grew that business to having 65 employees, and it was turning over more than $1 million a month. Which sounds great, and from the external world looked like everything was fantastic and going well, and had the cars, had the houses, like owned everything, and was really kicking some goals in, I suppose, the material world space, like having all those sort of things come to fruition. But what I started to realise is I wasn't really enjoying myself like I once was. I was certainly unfit, unhealthy. I'd begun to drink quite a bit every night just to sort of manage that stress load that I was experiencing, and I didn't really understand or comprehend, what was happening. But I was building up and accumulating stress and tension within the nervous system and within the body. And over time, that caused me to become pretty unwell. Mentally, I wasn't in a good place. And physically, the body wasn't operating anywhere near what it should be or how it should be. And I ended up in hospital. So when I ended up in hospital, they were doing the blood tests and all that sort of stuff. Found out I had glandular fever, which they sort of said I'd probably been carrying for a while. And I also ended up with meningitis, which meningitis, when you get it and you get that headache with it, it's unmistakable. It feels like your head's going to pop off. So pretty unpleasant thing to experience. anyway, I sort of got over that, and I got back to work, and I reckon 6 months later, I ended up in hospital again with a blood infection. And at that point was when I sort of sat back and thought, well, is this really worth it? Like all this stress and tension that I've accumulated, not understanding on how to manage it. And I thought I need to come up with a way or investigate a way to manage the stress, because what I did recognise is if I wasn't feeling my best and I wasn't at my best, I wasn't operating the company to the best it could be. Not like I was at the beginning when I grew it. And I recognised that, things weren't running as well there. And I just didn't have the energy to really put into it. So I did a bit of investigation in and around meditation, because meditation always interested me. And that sort of led me down a path where back then when I did that investigation, mate, we had yellow pages, the big 2 yellow pages.
Yeah.
Wasn't the internet and all that sort of stuff that we have today. So when I did that research, I researched 3 organisations out of the yellow pages, and come across one that really, really impressed me. So I went off and learnt meditation, and I was fortunate enough to learn off somebody that really knew their stuff, and got a great understanding into meditation and how to unwind the nervous system. And I think it was the 3rd session that I had with Malcolm at that time that really triggered a massive stress release off the nervous system. And that stress release, I got quite dizzy, quite hot. The body was pulsating, and it let go through meditation. And I just recognised a fundamental difference within myself 24 hours, 48 hours after that. Things that were once stressing me weren't anymore. And the more I meditated, the more that sort of came about, that pathway of, you'd look at things and you'd think, well, why did that stress me? And it was only because of the stress that I'd accumulated, and I had no idea on how to release. And at the time, I was probably trying to use alcohol, drinking every night just to release that, and probably compounding the problem, not fixing the problem. So, there's a saying that we have in meditation: meditate first and have a drink second if you want to have a drink, because you'll probably enjoy it more. So,
really
go on, mate.
interesting. It's a really interesting, Troy. You shared a few moments ago in regards to chronic fatigue or having glandular fever, which is something that I've suffered from for many years. And I remember when that hit me, and I think a lot of us, especially at a young age, because I had it at a young age, from the age of 19. I don't know when you had yours, whether it was 32 at the age of 32 or not, but
yeah, it was a bit older, probably around that 34, 35 years of age where I experienced all that.
and when it happens, I know that because we're so naive to it, regardless of what age we are, but especially as a young man, I don't think I had the mental and the psychological understandings of being able to process what was going on to me with my body, with my energy levels. And as you said, it affects you in so many ways, and it leads to other complications. And there's a lot of people out there that have in the past contracted the Epstein-Barr virus, which is also known as the glandular fever virus. And off that has led to chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and so many things. It's really something that I resonate with in a lot of stuff that you have already shared so far. And I'm finding it, it's almost like I'm listening to my internal dialogue while I'm watching you share about what you've been through.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, you're right, like when you get glandular fever, you may not know you've got it. But there's a fatigue that's with it that's just, you can sleep 12 hours and
you're still fatigued.
and still want to go back to bed when you get up and start your day. So it's quite crippling, the fatigue that does come with that
You know what I
particular
found?
illness.
You know what I found, Troy, because at that time when I contracted the glandular fever virus or Epstein-Barr virus, I was competing as a boxer. I was a bantamweight. I just finished fighting for the state New South Wales bantamweight title, and I as a novice. During that time, it was 1990 when I won the New South Wales novice bantamweight title, and I had glandular fever when I won it and afterwards. And for some reason, when I wasn't able to run the times that I was running, rather than stepping back and having a break and just processing everything, I uploaded my workload, and I end up training 11 times, 9 to 11 times a week. And as a result, I was just run down and burned out, which a lot of athletes end up doing.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I know when I decided to sort of turn all that around, obviously with the meditation, things started to turn around quite rapidly, which led me on a bit of a path and crusade to, look at, the most important thing to us is us, the number one asset. We are we're the one that's creating the life, the lifestyle, that all flows from us. So if we've built a business, it's important that we maintain the asset that built that business. And that asset is us. So the crusade that I sort of went on was, well, let's look at mind-body connection. Let's look at all these things on staying, fit. And when I talk about fit, I talk about mind fitness and body fitness. So there's a combination of both. And
it's important to understand that it's when we talk about fitness, healthy minds and healthy bodies, healthy people, we're not just talking about having a good diet. We're not just talking about going to the gym and exercises, going down the beach and that. It's about all your internal representation, your internal dialogue, getting quality sleep, breathing right, and so much more. That I think a lot of people are now just starting to tap into all these channels and understand health and well-being so much better.
yeah, and you're spot on. It's an important thing because I know we're going to get into goal setting, but that sort of led me into what made me get into the studies and understandings, and built off that knowledge of meditation that I'd learnt, which I've been doing for almost 20 years now, and look at other ways, studying with Bob Proctor and learning that philosophy of success around building, right goals, proper goals. Then also going on and understanding how to breathe correctly through the Oxygen Advantage Advanced Instructors course.
When you talk about Patrick McEwen, Oxygen
Yep.
Advantage, which is what I'm doing as well, interesting. And that all came from obviously Constantine Buteyko from the Buteyko breathing method, which I'm fascinated about. And there's a guy called Dave Pemberton who I get to run my part of my retreats, the sessions with breathwork, which I'm going to be having next week. Actually, I'm interviewing him. So if you want to come and visit us on that day, that would be amazing. But it really is a beautiful, unique way of breathing, isn't it? And once you do it after a while, it becomes effortless, doesn't it?
It does, and it's very, very much based around functional breathing, altitude training, like breathing at altitude, using the oxygen mask, but also with the functional breathing, teaching you to breathe from the mouth, from the nose, not the mouth, and really getting that breath rate down so we can deliver good quality oxygen to muscles and organs. So too many of us today are degassing ourselves in and around that
Overbreathing, aren't
space,
we?
overbreathing,
Overbreathing, and that's
degassing. Then you're not getting the oxygen where it needs to be because the hemoglobin doesn't let go of the oxygen if there's not enough carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. So there's all these things that we've come up, we've believed that getting carbon dioxide out of the bloodstream is a good thing, but it is actually the pathway that opens things up and allows oxygen to flow to where it needs to be. So over breathing, and it highlights when you over breathe, if someone's having a panic attack and they begin to overbreathe and they hyperventilate, they pass out. It's because the oxygen's not getting to where it needs to be. So we've got to learn that just our day-to-day breathing, we've got to dial down, get that breath rate down.
What they're actually doing is extending the state of hypertension, and we just destroying what they really need to do, and that just basically means slow down and breathe. I know, like, I was speaking to a Buteyko breathing coach a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about when someone comes back to the corner in boxing and you tell them to take big breaths. And it's probably what you don't need to do. All you need to do is just cool off, slow down, just take a breath, a short breath, if just a short breath, and breathe out. And as you recover more and more, slow your breathing down more and more. Your heart rate will drop, your body temperature will drop, and you're able to recover so much better in the corner before you go out for the next round. This theory of take a big breath and blow it out, all you're doing is hyperventilating and just exacerbating the goal of recovery. But I just thought that theory was really interesting.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. There's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of benefits to managing your own stress with the functional breathing side of it, being able to dial down the nervous system through right breath, being able to reduce your breath rate through right breath. So it is a powerful thing, along with the meditation, along with the goal setting and system of success that I've learnt from Bob Proctor. And
can you tell us those 3 points that you spoke about? We spoke about meditation. The topic of meditation, when I meditate, I try to do it 3 times a day, and that is when I wake up in the morning, in the afternoon when I go back to work, so I can just recharge and refresh and just reset, and then obviously at night just before I go to bed, and I just want to unwind. Can you tell me some of the tips that you like to use when you meditate that perhaps some of our viewers may take home and apply to their breathing methods or meditation sessions?
Yep. Well, meditation, and obviously the meditation that I teach is not a technique-based meditation. So we're just teaching you where to turn your awareness within and allow the mind to simply transcend, which everyone has that ability to allow the mind to transcend. And when the mind transcends, it moves away from that busy conscious level thinking mind to a more still, quiet, well-rested mind. That still, quiet, well-rested mind that everyone's seeking already exists. It's already there. It's not something we need to create. We just need to learn where to turn our awareness and transcend to it. And transcend's just move beyond that current form of consciousness that you're experiencing to a deeper, more quieter level of consciousness. And when that happens, the mind goes into that restful place. Mind leads, body must follow. Body will follow into a deep state of rest. That deep state of rest allows deep accumulated stresses and tension to be cast off the nervous system. This is how we unwind stress and tension. So meditation, without a doubt, is done in this way, is the most powerful way to de-stress the nervous system. So that's a great way to de-stress the nervous system. And when like you were saying that you do it in the morning, in the afternoon, I'm a big believer when it comes to meditation. Initially, yes, for you to create the habit, you've got to make time for it and you've got to do it. But once you form the habit around doing a regular meditation practice, it should fit into your day nicely. For some people, yes, it might be great to jump up and do a meditation. For other people, they might want to just get their day started, go to the gym, do some exercise, or they need to get to work. And their first meditation might fall in around that morning tea break or lunchtime break. That'll be their first meditation of the day. We recommend 20 minutes twice a day, obviously, as ideal practice. And then, they may get one done at night time. They may do it when they get home. They might do it before they get home. A great place to meditate is in the car. So if you can find a quiet spot, park under a tree and just have a meditate. And people have kids families. So usually when they walk in the door, it's game on with the family,
Turn your
and
father's hat
they
on.
lose that time for meditation. So if they can get it in before they get home, just as I said, pull up in a car park in a park area under a shady tree. Being here in Australia, leave the aircon on because it'd be too bloody hot if you turned it off. And mate, sitting in a car seat, ideal place to meditate. They support you well. You can sit up. You allow good meditation. So I'm a big believer in, yes, when you initially start, you've got to create the habit. So you've got to be, disciplined and say, well, I'm doing my meditation here and here. But as time goes on, you'll find where it fits into your day. And that is how you get you to a day and create the habit around where it fits best for you throughout the day. But guaranteed, you learn to meditate correctly. And there's a lot of people out there saying that, focus on the breath is a good meditation. This is a good meditation. That's a good meditation. But quite simply, the most powerful way to meditate is to connect with what we call the inner space within the thought stream, allow that transcendence to take hold, allow the body to get deep rest. When we use a technique base, focus on a breath, a mantra, a word, or listening to music in any way, or music or guided meditation in any way, we're actually kicking our sensory factors in, and we're actually keeping our awareness away from where the mind can really transcend. So they might give you a relaxed state and you might feel a bit calmer from it, but they'll never give you the totality of a meditation that connects and allows that transcendence to take hold. So
So what you're saying,
they're
Troy,
the tips that
initially,
I would give.
so initially what you're saying is once you've meditated for a while, ideally is to meditate to no music and find your.
Yeah, you don't want to be reliant on something.
Mm.
I mean, we can teach you how to be non-reliant on anything right from the get-go.
Yeah, we had a conversation with somebody that said that when guys walk out to the ring, for example, in boxing, they should not have to have music. They should have to have the mental focus to be able to walk out there and know that they do their job and what they need to do and be in that psychological mode, be in that right state of mind to take care of business. And I agree, 100%. You
Yep.
should not have to have music playing in the background. You're walking out to Eye of the Tiger or whatever the music may be. Because that mindset is what is going to get you over the line initially. Well, I'm sure today they have different stimulants with music, and it's great for the show, with boxing as well. But as I listen to you sharing some of the stuff you talk about transcending and centering and finding your inner self while you're meditating, I get the feeling and I reflect. I do some self-reflection as you talk, as I'm able to be more mindful of what's going on around me. And at the same time, I'm not distracted by the internal dialogue that is running through my mind. And is no longer coming 100 miles an hour like it was when I was in my waking, walking state. And then when I come out of my meditation state, the great benefits that I find out from meditation is I'm able to be mindful and to be able to control those internal dialogues that arise a lot better.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's good. And obviously, when you utilize a meditation and you do it correctly, it is without a doubt the most powerful way to de-stress. And when we de-stress the nervous system, well, the mind will silent on itself. It'll become quiet on its own accord anyway. Usually the thing that keeps the mind so active is the memories that we have sitting on the nervous system that causes us to think about the past, and project that negative past to the future. So it never brings us to being present. This focus on the now I'm not into. I'm being about being present. If you're present, you're in the now. If you're focusing on the what if factor of the future, well, you're not in the now. And if you're worried about something that you did in the past, well, you're not in the now. You're not being present in the now. So being present is the key. Unwinding that nervous system and allowing yourself to be present is the ultimate goal. And then we can come from a place, and I believe this is a life mastery, that this place that we come from is that ability that you do not allow the external world. And when I talk about the external world, I talk about your environment, I talk about people that are around you, situations, everything that arises. That external world should never, never be able to govern the way you think, feel, or act. Now, that's a life mastery to be able to master that. But meditation will, without a doubt, put you on the pathway of mastering that, where you are in control of you, and that external world will never allow your emotional state to shift, and you're not handing your control over to anybody else because they've said something and then your emotional state spins out of control. That life mastery is something that I believe if everybody could find time and just allocate a bit of time for themselves to work on that alone, the shift in themselves would be incredible. So
that's quite a unique way of sharing, Troy. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I know that Jimmy Williams, my old mentor, used to say to me, stay in your lane. There's always going to be somebody trying to pull you out of your lane. There's people during the day that could be jealous of you. There's people next to you that could be smiling at you. There could be people that are supporting you, yelling at you, whatever they're doing. You can't have control over that, but all you have control of is your own mindset and how you're going about your day. People are always going to pull you out of your body. You have to stay in your body and stay in your lane. And you had a really you just put it in a really great way. And really looking forward to watching this back. And I'm actually taking notes as we speak. Troy, what is some of the things that you really love about the work that you do? You mentioned, you seem really passionate and you have a deep connection to meditation, for goal setting, which we'll touch on in a second. But what is the thing that you truly love about the work that you do?
Mate, I suppose my experience of getting into business, creating this business, and having a lot of money turnover and all those sort of things. Like, you look at all that but then feeling the weight of the stress, but then learning things and really getting into that self-development area, and doing life coaching and becoming a qualified life coach, becoming a qualified meditation teacher, becoming certified in the Oxygen Advantage, the Bob Proctor programs, becoming a certified instructor and coach in that sector, and obviously going through the PT
About the Bob
stuff.
Proctor program?
The Bob Proctor program, I don't know if you've heard of Bob Proctor, and some people that might watch this may or may not. But Bob Proctor was a big person in The Secret. Remember the book The Secret and the movie they made about The Secret and the law of attraction? So he was into that, and he developed a system of success that was based around goal setting, developing goals correctly, building the understanding in and around the conscious level thinking mind and the subconscious level thinking mind, and how we needed to really impress onto the subconscious mind the outcomes and the desired results we wanted, and become the person that could have the goals that we had. So there's a system of success that really runs from the initial point of learning to set your goals properly, getting them written down, because in most aspects, people barely have a goal and they never write them down. So ultimately, if you know how to write a goal down correctly and you know how to set a goal correctly, Bob used to work, and the way I work too, is 3 types of goals. There's A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals. Your A-type goals are based around something that you've probably already done. You've done something similar, and you set a goal and you go out and you achieve the goal, but there's no growth in those sort of goals, because you've already done it before, so you know how to do it. You just got to take the actions and create the outcome, and you get it. That's an A-type goal. A B-type goal is something that you think you could achieve. So a B-type goal is, oh, well, if all these things fall into place, I should be able to achieve this. There's not a lot of inspiration in B-type goals, and most people will get bored and just peter off chasing them. A C-type goal really comes from your imagination. Now we were encouraged as kids to just sit around and imagine things, but then as we get into school, we're encouraged not to. We had to concentrate and focus on what we were doing. But ultimately, if we really sat back and tapped into the life that we wanted to create, most people would say they're nowhere near it. They're nowhere near where they want to be. And a lot of people are scared to chase that. But ultimately, if you create the fantasy and you build a goal around that fantasy, you don't need to know how to create it. The outcome that you're going after, you don't need to know how to create it. But I guarantee you, when you do the right things and you impress it into the subconscious, which is the emotional part of the mind, which actually changes the vibration in your body. The law of attraction is a sub-law to the law of vibration. How we vibrate, and when we become in harmony with the goal or the outcome that we want, that outcome is now attracted to us just as much as we're attracted to them, because we've become the same vibration and we're attracting it. So it's vitally important that that's where we get our emotional state, and we become the person that can have that outcome. And we will find that things will just start to show up at that point. And as long as we have the courage to take the correct action, which I call appropriate action, we can create the outcomes and the goals that we want. How that links to meditation is obviously when we meditate and transcend, we're getting deep into the subconscious. We can then start to plant the seed of intention down there. So instead of trying to impress your goal and your intentions from that conscious level thinking mind, you're already deep in consciousness, and you can plant these seeds of intention deep in consciousness, which then will shift your emotional state closer to the outcomes that you want.
Roy, I like to pick up on a point that you talk about the law of attraction, because I've had quite a lot to do with energy magnetic fields. And I do believe that when your energy magnetic fields are radiating at the right frequencies, and when it comes to the law of attraction, when you've manifested things in your mind, spiritually, emotionally, and you have your mind set on achieving those goals, and I'm not just talking about materialistic goals, it could be anything. It could be just study, it could be just getting fitter, or just being able to get quality sleep, whatever it may be, whatever that goal may be, that naturally radiates those goals closer to your being. But I've noticed that with my stuff, I used to have a lot of dreams and premonitions when I used to go to sleep at night, and I had books and books for years and years where I'd wake up every morning or during the night and I'd write my dreams down. And so many times I'd manifest these dreams, and they become true, a reality. I had like these premonitions where I would win the Reebok aerobic championships, or I'd be on national television, and I'd write it down in the book. And 6 months later, 3 months later, I was sitting with my brother at his place, and I was on television doing aerobics, watching it with the soccer team, and they were all cheering on. And it was like a reality, like a dream come true. And I do believe that if you entertain certain beliefs, certain goals with your mind in a positive way and in the right way, as you said, everything just falls into place. Even if it doesn't fall into place exactly, sure enough, it will fall close enough for you to enjoy those those moments.
Yep. And sometimes it works out better, mate. Sometimes we don't have the knowledge or understanding, of what the potential of that is, and sometimes it works out better. So it is, I think it's a tragedy for people not to really tap into what they really want. They dismiss it, that, oh no, that won't happen. But if they get right into that, you know, how they would have liked their life to be, or how they'd like to create their life, you know, and get in there and just believe it's possible, and just begin to have the courage to take the appropriate actions towards the goal, and be aware of the opportunities that may come along. You'll create a great life, and you'll see those sort of things come along that, you know, are just unexpected, but really help you achieve what you want.
You know, I too believe that when you are at your most mindfulness moments, things fall into place, you know.
Yeah.
Mindfulness with money, mindfulness with career, mindfulness with financial goals, health goals, and all that, things slowly fall into place. I've seen it several times, and you know, I continue to see things that I believe some people can refer to as miracles, you know, but I don't believe things are really are a miracle when they happen like that. It's really your own intuition telling you what your subconscious mind has been meditating on, has been waiting for, and has been like role playing for so long that you've been able to give birth to that dream and make it come true. And it's so beautiful when something like that does happen. I remember before my son was born, my firstborn, I had this dream that we had a baby boy, and when that came true, that was so sweet. You know, it was bittersweet for me to have that. You know, after being single for such a long time, and you know, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. But, yeah, so I suppose, mate, because I know we're getting towards the end of time. So, like you were saying about what sort of got me into doing this. Well, you know, with the health and fitness stuff that I do, you know, with the personal training, plus all the mindset stuff with, you know, the goal setting, the meditation, and obviously life coaching all around that space.
Did you do a lot of
I
that?
really enjoy working with men that, you know,
You
are
do a lot of that
40
work for over
plus.
40s. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's reasons for that. I mean, I like working with business owners, and, you know, men that are 40 plus, because I recognise too that, you know, when I went through that time and got unwell and put on a lot of weight, I recognise that the body, especially as we get into our 40s and 50s, like I'm in my 50s now, the body doesn't respond like it used to, and it's created a habit of carrying the weight. So you've actually got to do certain things and sort of allow the body to break the habit of carrying the weight, number one, and be able to shift the weight off. So I bring a lot of that knowledge and understanding that I had to trial on myself, and with you know, people that have sort of explained stuff to me, and I've got a good understanding in and around, you know, your methylations, advanced methylation testing, and all that. And, you know, I've got people that do all that sort of stuff, and it is all about, you know, well, how do we get the body operating at its optimal? How do we get our hormone levels optimal? This crap with doctors today that say, oh, you're in the healthy range for a male your age. You know, I don't want to be average. And most people don't want to be average. They want to be optimal. So it's about getting your testosterone levels and all that, no matter what age you are, 40, 60, 50, whatever it is, getting them to an optimal level, not
Average.
not the average. Oh, that's what the average male is. Well, no, bugger that. We can be better than that. We can get them to optimal levels. So I'm about getting you know, working on that, getting the male hormones up to an optimal level, you know, breaking the habits that the body's created over the years, where we probably put all our time and effort into running a business, looking after the family, and we didn't look after ourselves, breaking those habits that the body's created and start to, shift the weight and get your health and fitness back, and just get that vitality and enjoyment back in life. That's why I really love working with men over 40. And as I said, with the combination of, the health and fitness, being a PT, having the mindset stuff in around the Bob Proctor program, having the oxygen advantage, having the ice bathing, which I hadn't mentioned yet, got all that, having the life coaching, and also having the knowledge of what I had to do for myself to get myself back on track.
Because that really is
I can shorten the trip for people now, and that's why I love working with men over 40 and business owners.
That really is the best way, Troy. As you said, practice what you preach. If you haven't been through it, how can you educate it?
Yep.
If you haven't run 100 meters under 10 seconds, how can you educate someone else to run 100 meters under 10 seconds? No, that's amazing, Troy. I know you've been doing some amazing work, especially with the over 40s group. And obviously, your knowledge and experience, as you said, it's not just life coaching, it's not just breath work, it's not just ice bath, it's not just meditation. It's a combination of everything, and a combination of you being a dad, a husband, an important member in your community, and your journey, and incorporating your journey and what life has accomplished you with others. Troy, I'm sure there's a lot of viewers watching this back will probably want to know how to get in contact with you, or if they do want to learn a little bit about what you do and some of the things that you do that we've talked about tonight. How do they get in contact with you? Do you have an Instagram, a Facebook, or a website, or a page that they could go to get in contact with you? Are you able
mate. Basically, Instagram, obviously, which is just Troy.Drake, and then I've got my Facebook. They're probably the two best socials to get me on. Also got the Motion Mind website, and got the Motion Mind app.
Can you give us that, please, Troy?
What's that?
Website. Can you give us the website address?
Yeah, motionmind.com.
How do you
MUSHINMIND, Motion Mind. Yep. Old samurai word, motion. It means a mind with, that is fully present, aware, and without fear.
Motion Mind.
Motion Mind. That's it.
Oh, that's
and I've got an app, so people can download the app too and jump in there and communicate with me through the app as well. So, there's a number of ways of getting hold of me, but best way, if you've got a Facebook, got an Instagram, just jump on there and join us there and get started. I mean, that's the best way. If you're interested in having a chat, that's the best way to get hold of me at this point.
Amazing, Troy. It's really been good catching up with you and listening to what you have to share about your journey. There's so much there. I'm sure that we could have gone on for so much longer. We haven't even scraped the surface of what you've been doing, and a very small part of what you've been through and stuff like that. But like I said, I met Troy when we were all on our journey doing another program, and ever since we've kept in touch. And we belong to a group called Real Fellas United, and we're all doing our own great work. Troy's doing his work, I'm doing my work, and the other guys there are doing their great things and their contribution to their own communities. As I wanted to share before we end up tonight's session, don't forget next week I'll be catching up with Dave Pemberton, who is a oxygen advantages coach. He's also a Boutique breathing specialist, and he's going to be talking to us about the benefits of vertigo breathing and nasal breathing. But I just wanted to share with you guys on the 14th and 15th of March, I'll be running my own Footprints retreat right here in beautiful Bondi Beach. And if any of you want to join us for this great event, I'd like to share with you some of the things that entailed this great weekend. We're going to have yoga on the beach just before sunrise with our yoga coach, followed by human movement. And this is in that moment that it's going to allow us to be in touch with nature, by the beach, on the sand, practicing breath work and different yoga exercises, following a human movement session back at Bondi Boxing Gym, where we will walk back to Bondi Boxing Gym and have fun working out. And that will be followed with some delicious breakfast. And then we will head into our neural transformation therapy sessions, where we'll be talking about behavioral science. And I'll be talking about goal setting, your trajectory, and some major breakthroughs that we could do to strive to become the best versions that we could be, and maybe be able to self-reflect and take away some really good key takeaways. We're going to follow that session with some ice baths, some detoxing smoothies. Every individual is going to have a massage. We're going to have Dave Pemberton coming in and talking about breath work and the benefits of buteyko breathing. We're also going to have nutritionist and naturopath Nikki Ravelman from the Health Emporium here in Bondi talk about nutrition, gut health, fibromyalgia, and so many other things. There is so much to list. As I said, every individual will receive a massage from the practitioners next to the gym, and there's so much involved in this great event. If you wish to learn more about this event, DM me on Facebook, Mayhdad Ronan's Coaching, or Mayhdad Ronan, or you can email me at ynvhealthandwellness@hotmail.com. You can also call me on 0402 622 662. I'm going to take a moment out and just talk to you about something that was asked of me this morning by one of my clients when they referred to trauma, and they asked me, can you give me your honest definition of trauma? Now, everybody has their own view on trauma, but what trauma really is an event that has occurred, it happened to you earlier in your life. And unfortunately, you have not had the skills to be able to process that event. And as a result, you suppress it, put it away. And anytime a similar event arises in your life, you are triggered and traumatized. And through behavioral science and ongoing work and education and self-growth, we're able to understand and be able to navigate through events like these and come out through the other side and understanding that trauma does not have to exist. It's all about our internal representation and how we process it. But Troy, once again, thank you for joining me. I look forward to catching up with you in the future. And yeah, basically, I'm going to
Yeah,
be.
mate. Thanks, mate, Dad. Appreciate it, mate. Great chat.